Yeah.
Okay, what gave you the idea to start your business in or?
Two things. One, I realized that there's absolutely nothing to do in town for anybody that's ranging from age 5 to, well, 20 besides going to a park or going to a skate park. So I saw one of these in Arizona 3 years ago and thought, wow, this would be great in the state where there's, what do you figure, 7 months of, cold or winter or crummy weather.
Yeah.
So and give kids something different. There's nothing like it around. So
What was your previous work experience before starting this company, and was it helpful in starting this business?
I have owned 5 businesses before this, so yeah, I think every endeavor that you get into, at least on the owning your own business side, each one you're going to learn something from. I don't care if it's a landscaping business or an airline, you're going to learn something that you can bring to the next one. So yeah, I would say any previous work experience was, and I was in finance for 7 years, so that definitely helped on the spreadsheet and the finance end of it.
Right. If you hadn't had the experience, do you think you would have been able to do what you did?
No.
And open this up?
I don't think I would have been able to jump in this big. I mean, it doesn't look like there's a lot here, but there's an enormous amount of time and money invested just in this place. So to have this be my very first business, I don't think, me personally, I wouldn't have been able to take it on. It'd just be too much expense, too much time, not enough education in business personally.
Did you have a background in business education, like a degree?
I got a degree from St. Cloud State, and I got a major in finance and a minor in economics. But no offense to colleges, what I learned in college, very little of it actually do I use daily here. It was great, the fundamentals, but as far as hands-on, that you just don't get out of a book or out of a class.
What's your greatest achievement with Air Max?
We made money our first year open. And I don't know too many businesses that can say starting from scratch and not having any model to work off of or anybody to compare it to that they can make money in the first year. That's a pretty big success.
How important is it to have good employees and team members?
That is the most important. By far, employees can make or break you. Granted, you're obviously accountable and it's your responsibility to train them and make sure that they can handle what you're asking them to do, but from their attitude to their outgoing personalities to thoroughness to do a good job, I mean, it all comes back to them. If the people that come here don't have a good experience because of the employees, they remember that. If the people have a great experience because of the employees, they don't remember that, and I'm okay with that. But if the employees aren't what you expect them to be, then it's a mess.
What have some of your failures been? Or have you had any here?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know anybody that owns a business that hasn't had failures, and more than one. Failures for us, I guess, would have been, I don't know if it would consider being a failure, but in my mind it is. We didn't have anything to compare it to. We didn't have a model to work off of. So everything we did, we had to come up with our own computer systems, our own layout, we had to build all our own frames, did the build out of all the bathrooms and party rooms. I guess I probably would have spent some more time doing some more research on which insurances we could have used and not necessarily needed, and payroll, for example. We hired a local company in town to do all of our payroll for the first 8 months, and it ended up costing us an extra $45,000, which, yeah, we didn't know how to do payroll and we didn't have the time to do it up front, so definitely they did a service for us. Was it worth $45,000? Probably not. So that would have been not necessarily a failure, but we could have probably prevented it.
What is a typical day like running this business?
A typical day is open the doors, get here an hour beforehand, make sure everything's stocked. The only thing we really have to stock is obviously snacks and then anything that people drink. And then make sure that all the parties, we do about 20 parties a weekend, so make sure that pizzas are ordered for the parties, they're going to show up on time, make sure the cupcakes or cake is here, make sure everything's clean. That's my biggest thing. If it's not clean, I'm not happy. That would be kind of the pre-opening, and then opening, it kind of goes anywhere from there. I mean, it's not your standard organized, structured business from a daily operational standpoint. We could have 120 people in here at 10 a.m. or we could have 7 people in here at 10 a.m. and there's no I mean, we can plan for it a little better in the winter when there's not a lack of things to do, but in the fall, you don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, it could be 1,000 people in a day, it could be 50. So there really isn't a standard day. Obviously, you're gonna have the same thing with any business where you're bringing people in, checking them in, you know, taking their tender, whether it's credit card, cash, whatever it may be, let them jump, have them leave, count the tills down, clean up. I mean, that's basic stuff, but as far as what to expect, you don't know.
How did you develop your business plan?
Good question. I don't know. We just started talking, and I'm thinking this question probably is relying to like when people actually put a designed business plan together, which is a good thing to go to a bank and get financing. That would be the business plan I'm sure you're talking about. Our business plan was basically 3 of us sat down and just started hashing through every possible expense, what we projected we would make the first year or not make the first year, project anything that might come into the plan here or into our beginning stages that one of us hadn't thought of. It was a lot of basically the 3 of us brainstorming. It was there really wasn't a per se business plan like you guys work off of, but we didn't get any bank funding. So, you know, our business plan is down on the computer and we went through it and we all understand it, but it's not exactly to what you guys learn about in school as a business plan.
What stops you from giving up on the business when times get tough?
Pride. I won't fail.
What is the most important thing in owning your own business or starting your own business?
Time. You have to be here all the time. If one of us isn't here, you're not in control, you don't know. I mean, you could have people, my biggest fear is people stealing from the till. I think every business has it to a certain degree, but you have to minimize that. And if somebody gets hurt and it's not handled properly, those are the biggest concerns, so that's why I would say time is the biggest. You gotta be here, you gotta be dealing with people, you gotta be outgoing, seeing how their time is going and having fun, any suggestions. They have to, and most people personally, I think, come to a small business, they wanna meet the person that actually owns it. Like when I go out to eat, I don't eat anywhere where there's a chain. I'd rather eat a mom and pop shop because they're the ones that are making a go of it. And you might get a chance to meet them and, you know, you don't know what'll happen from there.
Who has influenced you most in your career or has been your greatest inspiration?
My uncle.
Why is that?
He started his own company at 35 with $25,000 and he's worth a little over $6 million now. I mean, he's 55. But he's very thorough and he's always there to help. I mean, he's just started from nothing and now he's very successful.
What sort of tools do you use to market the business?
Boy, we do a lot. We try to do a lot. Obviously Facebook, and I think any social media you have to do now. It's just everybody's got it. Facebook we do a lot. Media as far as radio we do, newspaper we do. We also have 3 of our managers are out meeting with either school districts or nonprofits or churches to try and inspire them to bring large groups of people in on our off times. So we hand out a lot of flyers in schools. And then we work with a few foundations. There's a few injured soldier foundations we work for and try to do fundraisers for them. We do a lot of fundraising for other, I guess they would be nonprofits, but United Way does a big one with us. Breast Cancer Awareness does a big one with us. And that's all forms, it's a fundraiser, but it's all forms of marketing, because that's how you're getting your name out.
What do you believe to be some of your greatest strengths in this business and your weaknesses in this business?
Probably our greatest strengths are we have a couple of our managers that are very solid. They're responsible, they're thorough, they don't have to be told what to do. Other weaknesses or other strengths that we have is the 3 of us that own this isn't our first business, so we know what to look for, we know what we need to do, we know how to cut things that can be cut. Weaknesses is, at the same time, all 3 of us also own other businesses, so we're, time again is something that we don't always have a lot of, so we should get together more often than we do and do more brainstorming, but conference calls work well.
What makes having your own business worth it at the end of the day?
Some days are good, some days are bad. I guess I don't look at this as the end of every day as a victory. My goal is, 15 years from now, and I'm comfortably retired. That's my victory lap, I guess. And to do something that nobody else has done.
What are some of the major risks you had to take before you could pursue this business and make it successful?
Well, the risks I had to take was, and I think it's this way for any business, you have to take a risk to get any reward. And granted, our reward on this business isn't here yet, but the numbers are going up, so it'll happen. Risk in the past, I don't have a lot of hobbies. When I bought my first house when I was in my second year of college, and most kids, which I was partly there, but were out partying and hanging out and blowing money on stupid stuff, and got their first job and bought an immediate brand new car, and that wasn't me. I was remodeling a house I'd bought, buy another house, remodel that one, rent it out. I guess it'd be more of a sacrifice, but to get to this, there was a lot of hard work. There was no just decide one day you're going to open a trampoline park and all of a sudden money falls out of the sky and here you are.
How do you achieve a work and life balance?
That's my biggest struggle by far. It wasn't bad until I had kids. Love my kids. Absolutely would do anything for them, and I'm there. I have dinner with my family every single night, which is big. It's just tough because there's always something you can be doing. If you guys ever own your own business, you're going to realize there's always something you could be doing. I don't care if it's some spreadsheet work or some balance sheet work or fixing a door lock at a rental or coming here and putting up some banners or checking up on your employees. You can always be doing something, and it's just figuring out when, hey, I'm pushing a little bit too far, time to back off. I gotta go coach basketball or go hunting with my kid. So,
how do you see your business or yourself in 5 to 10 years from now? Do you see it expanding, growing?
I would like to open another one in Fargo. I think Fargo would be 5 times what it would be in St. Cloud, just because the population center is larger, gross income by demographic per family household is higher. The demographic of the people living in Fargo is younger, and on average they have, which sounds odd, but they have a quarter of a more child than we have in St. Cloud. So there's on average more kids per household. And there's more money out there just from even the fact that there's so much mining going on, and oil mining going on in North Dakota. I think that would be great. And I don't know if we'll go more after that. It's hard to forecast 5 years from now because we don't know how this is going to be doing. We could find ourselves uninsurable and be closing the doors, or we could find ourselves going, oh my gosh, got to open 10 more of these things. It's just, time will tell.
What advice would you give to a college student that was looking to get into entrepreneurship or open their own business?
I would tell them to mentor somebody that has a business. That'd be my suggestion. Mentor somebody who has a business, not just for an hour, mentor them for a month at least. Because there's a ton of stuff that I could tell you I would do, and I'll forget things that are probably extremely important, but I take for granted. And you guys would learn those if you were to follow somebody around or mentor somebody for a period of time. I always thought mentoring was lame, but the older I get and the more into this I get, that would be my suggestion.